The Wolfman Who Beat TB, and ate everything in sight, including a whole cow, a horse, and half a parish.
Hello everyone. I'm Irene, one of the voices available in the Polyspeaks for You Conversation Builder and Voice Studio. I'm joined today by a few of the Microsoft Online voices who occasionally make their appearance in the program. So, in no particular order, welcome Ava, Giuseppe, or Giuseppe.
Ciao.
Christopher.
Why hello there.
And Andrew Multilingual.
Hi.
Together, we're here to bring you the amazing story of the Wolfman Who Beat TB, and ate everything in sight, including a whole cow, a horse, and half a parish, by Timothy Wood, a tale of hunger, healing, and culinary chaos.
The following is a satirical and funny look at the serious illness of TB. But let me warn you, it's absurd, outrageous, and may make you look suspiciously at your fridge. This story has been built entirely by me, using the program I created, Polyspeaks for You, a drama/radio conversation building tool that lets me craft voices, moods, and even over-the-top culinary chaos. Polyspeaks for You is the magic behind these voices. It brings them to life, from the whisper of despair to the roar of hunger.
They say illness makes you appreciate life. In my case, it made me appreciate food. All of it. Let's rewind a few months. I had TB. And not the polite, dainty kind of TB that coughs gently and sips tea. No, this was the full symphony, a chest-rattling, bed-shaking, oxygen-hogging extravaganza that left me lying there wondering if breathing was a team sport I had forgotten the rules of.
Food. Forget it. The very thought of it turned my stomach. The smell of toast felt like an assault. I'd look at soup and see betrayal. Friends brought casseroles, curries, and comfort food, but I'd just glare at it suspiciously, as if the stew itself had personally wronged me.
The very smell of food had become strange. I now smelled on the level of an animal. Coffee smelled like dog turd. For many months. I even started naming foods according to my disgust levels. That's not chicken soup, that's liquid regret. Is that a meat pie or sin in a crust? Toast? You mean burnt disappointment.
At one point, I swear I could smell the idea of food from the next room and my stomach would fold its arms and say, nope. Not today. The doctors smiled that calm, clinical smile doctors have when they know you're suffering, but they're out of snacks. Your appetite will return, they said. Well, dear friends, they were right.
The turning point. It started one ordinary morning. I woke up, took a deep breath without coughing, and there it was. The faintest smell. Was it toast?
I froze. My inner wolf sniffed the air. My brain said, don't get your hopes up. But my stomach said, toast.
It was as if someone had turned up the volume of life again. I stumbled into the kitchen like a man on a mission, eyes wild, hair everywhere, wrapped in a blanket like a deranged burrito.
And there, in the toaster, was my salvation. 2 slices of bread, gently browning, smelling like the gates of heaven had opened and were serving breakfast. I devoured it. Not ate, devoured. The butter never stood a chance. That was the day the wolf awoke.
Stage 2. The Awakening of the Beast. From that morning onward, I became something unrecognizable. No longer the frail invalid lying meekly in bed. No longer the man who couldn't face a biscuit.
I became Timothy the Ravenous, destroyer of fridges, terror of pantries, devourer of leftovers. It started small. A second helping here, an extra slice there. But within weeks, I was raiding the kitchen like a werewolf on a carbohydrate rampage.
The fridge light would flicker on, and I'd appear in the reflection wild-eyed, muttering things like, who ate the chicken I was saving? Spoiler, it was me. I ate the chicken. At 2 a.m.
You know that scene in nature documentaries where the wolves tear apart a carcass after a long winter? That was me with a roast potato.
Even my friends noticed. Timothy, they said gently, you seem hungry. Hungry? I growled, clutching a spoon like a weapon. I'm alive.
The Great Culinary Reawakening. The strangest part of recovery is that your taste buds come back like long-lost friends who've gone feral. At first, I craved everything savory. Meat, bread, cheese, anything that once mooed, clucked, or grew near garlic.
I went from soups and sad crackers to plotting elaborate meals that could feed a small nation, a whole cow, a horse, and half a parish, if necessary. Then the cravings turned creative. Pickles on ice cream? Don't judge me, it worked. Banana on toast with Marmite and honey? Culinary chaos. But I was possessed. One night, I dreamed of lasagna so vividly, I woke up chewing on my pillow. That's when I realized I'd crossed the line from recovery into ravenous resurrection.
The Elizabeth James Incident. And then came Mrs. Elizabeth James. She's a lovely woman. Talented baker. Kind soul. But she's responsible for culinary crimes that defy logic. I first encountered her creations during my "I'll eat anything" phase. She appeared at the door one afternoon, holding what looked like a pie but smelled like 7 different recipes fighting for dominance. "It's my new experimental dish," she said proudly. "Chicken pot raspberries and parsnip steak and kidney mincemeat and pumpkin pie."
I blinked. Sorry, what? She beamed. It's all the best parts of dinner and dessert, together.
Now, the pre-TB Timothy would have run. The mid-TB Timothy would have fainted. But post-TB Wolfman Timothy? He just grinned. Pass me a fork reader, I ate it. I ate it all. Every confused, horrifying bite. And I lived to tell the tale. And you know what? It wasn't half bad. Either my taste buds were so happy to be working again they didn't care, or I had transcended the limits of human cuisine. MS, James looked at me in awe. You're the first person who's ever finished one. I wiped my mouth and said, make another.
The return of appetite. Once you've stared death in the face and come back stronger, you start to see food differently. Every meal becomes a victory. Every crumb is a celebration.
I used to think hunger was a weakness. Now I know it's the body's way of shouting, "Hallelujah, we made it." Now, at nearly 62, I've embraced my inner wolf. I no longer apologize for eating with enthusiasm. I no longer fear seconds. Life is too short for small portions. When people ask about my secret to recovery, I tell them the truth. Faith, laughter, and a really good sandwich.
Wolfman Wisdom.
If you ever find yourself in a hospital bed staring at the ceiling, remember this. You will eat again. You will smell toast again. You will crave something ridiculous and devour it with tears of joy. And when you do, don't be ashamed of your hunger. Celebrate it. Because hunger means you're still here. Still fighting. Still howling at the moon. Feeding time.
These days, I'm still a bit of a menace in the kitchen. I've been known to mix cocoa powder into mashed potatoes, just to see what happens. It doesn't end well, but science must be served. I keep snacks everywhere: bedside, desk, glove compartment, under the pillow. If an apocalypse hits, I'll survive on emergency biscuits. And I still think of Mrs. Elizabeth James every time I open the oven. Somewhere out there, she's probably inventing rhubarb chicken shepherd's pie a la mode, and I'm ready for it. Because once you've faced TB, a confusing pie is nothing.
Support the Wolfman, and Polly speaks for you.
Friends, this story is more than just a hilarious look at TB. It's built entirely by me using Polly Speaks For You, my DRAM/radio conversation building tool. Polly Speaks For You lets me create realistic voices, dramatic dialogue, and over-the-top storytelling, all at the push of a button. It's like having a full radio cast in your computer.
And if this story made you laugh, smile, or appreciate your next meal, you can help me keep creating these stories and recovering with some fun.
Throw an old wolf a bone. Donate via PayPal.
Every crumb helps feed this ravenous writer. Keep Polly Speaks for you alive and bring more voices, laughs, and absurdity into the world.
And remember to like, share, and subscribe. I am available for financial consideration to produce all your digital audio and graphic content at reasonable rates.